And Antonio Tarver was a murderous puncher and a motherfucker of a boxer. Yeah. Antonio Tarver could box. And he said in the ring to Roy, because they had one fight previously where it went to a decision, and and Roy had some excuses, I guess. And so he says in the ring for the second fight, "You got any excuses tonight, Roy?" The referee goes, "Any questions? Any questions?" And he goes, "You got any excuses tonight, Roy?" And Roy didn't say anything. And Tarver wound up knocking him out.
And then after that, he just kept getting knocked out, right?
He got knocked out bad after that.
What do you think that is when after somebody gets knocked out, it's almost like it's easier to knock them out after that?
Well, he fought Glenn Johnson after that, who was a very talented contender. Who people like, I think Glenn Johnson was a little older at the time, and maybe people overlooked him. He really had great success like later in his career. But Glenn Johnson knocked out Roy in a scary knockout. Pull that one up. Glenn Johnson, Roy Jones Jr. That was a scary one because this was after the Tarver one. But the Tarver one, he was conscious, but he was fucked up. I mean, Tarver cracked him, and he went down, but he was out, right? But he was moving around. This one's even scarier because he bangs the back of his head when he goes down. And this was the comeback fight, right? And so Glenn Johnson was like a suitable comeback opponent. But nobody told Glenn Johnson that. Like, Glenn Johnson came to that fight to win. And Glenn Johnson has his high guard. He's like a really difficult style to deal with and super, super tough guy. Just very, very skillful. And, this was Roy coming off of getting KO'd. And whenever a guy comes off of getting KO'd, the odds of him getting KO'd again go up. I don't know. It depends on the person. Some of them it doesn't go up at all. Some of them it only goes up slightly. But some of them it goes up a lot. For whatever reason. It might be the damage they took from the first knockout. It could be a lot of factors. Look at this. Boom. He hits him with that right hand. Look how he goes out. He goes out stiff. He banged his head off the ground. Like, watch that again. Because it is a fucking brutal series of punches he hits him with. Back here it is. So he gets him up against the ropes, sets him up for the right hand, and boom, he's out. One hard right hand to the side of the head, and Roy's out. That was a rough one. But that's nothing like Ray Mercer versus Tommy Morrison.
You think it's like your brain going, we're not taking any chances?
Probably.
Like,
There's probably something to that. But get Ray Mercer versus Tommy Morrison. This one was one of the worst. And this one was one after the movie. So Ray Mercer, people thought about him as like this like gold medalist in the Olympics, murderous puncher. Like he was a guy who was on the up. Like he was coming up. And somehow or another, they set him up with Tommy Morrison, who was a very good boxer and had beaten some good guys, but he was just coming off of this movie. So he was in the Rocky movies, and he's fighting a guy that's just been doing nothing but boxing. Now, Tommy Morrison's a movie star now, and he's a young guy. He's got to be distracted. I mean, he's got to be not focused.
Right.
And he's fighting a guy that he probably would have lost to anyway, because Ray Mercer was a motherfucker. And so Tommy is doing well in the fight for a while, but then Mercer eventually catches him. Because Tommy starts getting tired. And this is one of the things about Tommy Morrison. If you look at Tommy Morrison in the early stages of his fights, he was always better. He would fade. And eventually, Ray Mercer catches him. And he hits him with that right hand. And watch this. Boom. He's in trouble here, right? Boom, 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 boom. Now, this is why it's the worst one ever.
Oh.
Bro, he's tangled up in the ropes, and the referee is too small to pull Mercer off of him. So he hits him with multiple punches while he's out cold. Look at this.
This is over now.
The referee doesn't get in there. Look how he gets in there. The referee's just like, hey, you, stop. Hey, you. He's scared because he's a little old guy. He shouldn't be refereeing this fight. These are two elite heavyweights. These are enormous men. And this poor referee is old, got a little pot belly. He doesn't want to dive in there and get fucking murked.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
So because of that, Tommy Morrison takes haymakers. Look, he's out cold, and Ray Mercer's just full blast, teeing off. And another left hook after that, while the referee was holding onto his arms. Bro.
Damn.
That might be the worst.
Did he survive?
He lived, but he was never the same boxer again.
No way.
He beat some good guys after that. He actually beat George Foreman after that.
Yeah, old George Foreman.
Old George Foreman. He won a decision off of old George Foreman. Look at that left hook. Boom, 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 right hand. I mean, this is horrendous, dude. We're looking at it from a different angle now. Look at this. I mean, come on, man. Boom. And then still, he's fully out cold and he got hit 4 or 5 times clean. This is like Benny Paret all over again. This easily could have been the end of his life.
Yeah, for
Easily
sure.
could have been, and probably changed his brain.
Because right here, like,
Yeah.
I mean, what is this ref waiting on?
I mean, but seriously, dude, like this
That-
probably changed his brain forever.
Yeah, I mean, what? I mean,
This is crazy
what
beating.
what is it this ref is waiting to see?
I don't know, man. That is a crazy beating.
Because when you see a motherfucker getting hit in the face and they're not trying to stop it, I think the fight's over.
You need a big referee with big men. You need someone who can separate those
You
guys.
need Herb Dean. That
You need
motherfucker,
Herb Dean.
he be diving in like he diving from
You
first
need
base.
Mark Goddard. Mark Goddard's a big guy. You need Big John McCarthy was always great at it. He's a big guy.
Yeah,
you want a big guy for big